You know, I'm a refined person with very high standards and demand a lot from the stuff I buy. Some of you might even call me a snob. So, you wanna satisfy me? Then I don't care if you're making a movie, a book, a game, a documentary about pelicans. I don't wanna see any of this crap. Long, boring, unending, uninteresting dialogues, big booby anime girls, and giant mechs. Only one of these is there for inverse psychology purposes. I don't know, I've always had this incredible distaste toward mechas. They look stupid and dumb. But growing up you learn to find the good in everything, especially dumb things. Which is why Japanese Spider-Man is the greatest series ever made in the history of mankind, but I digress.
Barbara! Change Leopardo!
So yeah, it took me years to master the courage to watch stuff like Evangelion, for instance. And yes, put down the pitchforks, you insufferable nerds. I liked it. It's a masterpiece, okay? But I still think it would have been better with a 23% decrease in mechas and 5.7% increase in childhood trauma.
That's how grown-ups kiss. We'll do the rest when you get back, alright?
Don't judge. I saw what you people like. And Japanese devs are so fixated with these things as well. Thankfully not all of them. I still have forms.
Our next game is gonna have big dumb mechas.
You stupid piece of shit! I preferred you when you were making animes. But okay, fine, it's from Software. They make good games. They made one of my favorites, The Adventures of Cookie and Cream. But I honestly don't see how they may convince me that mechs are cool. Alright, From Software. I don't wanna jinx you, but I'm gonna say it. You haven't fucked up in over a decade at this point, and Armored Core 6 is not an exception. But mind you, this was not an easy sell at all. The beginning was the usual From Software deal. Thrown into no man's land without asking us for permission, then fight some nondescript rebels waiting to be cut open like Thanksgiving's turkey so we can learn the basics of the gameplay. Shoulder buttons for each attack type, jump, dodge, yada yada yada. And oh wow, we've finally been blessed with an actual pause menu. The issues however began almost immediately, when I realized that the overabundance of flashing icons and crosshairs in the HUD weren't just for show. Stamina, health, stagger bar, ammo for each weapon, lock-on activation, enemy location, scan cooldown, and holy shit, I'm not a fly From Software, I got only one pair of eyes. Managing all this shit is pretty much mandatory, and if you don't stick that thought in your head, the first boss will immediately make you. That is, if you actually manage to follow it, because that's the other thing my poor old brain had to adapt to. The lock-on system, or should I say systems. There's always a form of lock-on enabled, the difference is between helping you aim and actually make the camera chase the guy you want to shoot. But you'd be surprised at how hard it gets to see which one of those two systems is currently enabled when you're busy trying not to get killed.
Ooh, that's kinda small.
Which led to embarrassing moments where I tried to charge an enemy with my mech turbo blast only to completely pass by him and smash my face against the wall. But this is all part of the course with From Software games. They always demand a pound of flesh from us gamers in exchange for their goodies. It's just that this time I'm afraid lots of people will be disappointed if they think they're gonna get a Soulsborne game here.
The fires of Ibis, a flame, the kindling, the embers continued to burn. Stoke the fire.
Seekers embers.
Don't try to be smug with me. That's where the similarities end. Sort of. If I had to forcefully compare Armored Core to one of From Software's previous titles, I'd probably pick Sekiro. Just like Sekiro, Armored Core puts all its focus on the stamina and stagger bar, and just like Sekiro, it's clearly aimed at weebs with a fetish for ball torture.
Hurt me more, dog. I'm so fucking crazy. Won't you?
Don't take offense on that, I'm also a weeb, and I also enjoyed Sekiro's extremely hard difficulty. But I'd go as far as saying that this game is even more punishing at times. After the first couple of missions, it feels like you're playing Galaga, with all the flashes and projectiles on screen, and dodging them consumes stamina, but then you also need to get in range to hit enemies, but moving fast consumes more stamina, and some enemies in particular are real assholes that move at light speed, so you'll need your supercharged boost, which also consumes more stamina, and you see where I'm getting to. The moment you're given the task to balance your ammo, your ability to move around, the fact that you need to stagger your enemies if you want to have a chance in hell to take them down, it becomes incredibly taxing to keep track of all these things, and the difficulty curve really doesn't give a shit whether you're ready or not. In fact, let me rephrase it. This game is not like Sekiro. It's more like if Sekiro and Doom Eternal had a baby, put that baby through a Spartan training, then smacked him in the head just to make him extra bitter. And this is not me criticizing the game. This is me begging for fucking mercy. I gained back my composure, ground my teeth, and kept going. I managed to get through despite the challenge, and it felt sick to lay down hundreds of drones and robots. At least until I reached the final boss of the chapter, who immediately whipped out its robot dick and proceeded committing acts over my anus that would make the Satyricon look like a preschool story.
Shut up, lady. You piece of shit! Fuck you!
I'm sorry, it's an autonomous PCA craft. And Melania, Blade of Mikola.
You might have guessed it, but I begrudgingly exited the mission, went back to my mech's garage to cry, and then started looking through the stuff I could buy to have at least half a decent chance at killing this bastard. Quite a nostalgic deal too. It felt like the first time I went to buy a car. Lots of cool options and I could barely afford anything. So I looked through the stuff I could get to upgrade my big robot friend, and holy fuck, what are all these numbers? HP, maximum load, burst speed, thrust speed, vertical thrust, long range proficiency, medium range proficiency, softer burden, genital blood flow, risk of cancer. Jesus Christ, I didn't expect I would have had to spend so much time tweaking my baby toy, but I had to. The same fight could go from brutally challenging to cakewalk just by switching a few bolts and screen mirrors. At this point I realized what this game truly is. It's Gran Turismo. For weebs. Again, no offense on that, let's move on. And you know what, From Software? I fucking liked it. Yeah, I did. The upgrades and weapons cost a ton, but they all do different things, which meant that throughout the game there was a steady progression, which actually felt good. You know, good, the thing that we expected games to provide. I used to consider that the bare minimum, but today, when it happens, I feel like I need to shower the devs with praise and offer them my girlfriend in sacrifice. By the end of the game I was spending many hours making as many builds as possible and giving them all my unconditional love. I ended up naming them after Hollywood actors. Here's Jim Carrey, super flamboyant and jumpy. Bruce Willis here, more of a raw kind of guy. Dan Schwarzenegger, armed to the teeth, like a marine on steroids. And here we have Kevin Spacey. I use him to handle the minor robots. The only thing I really had gripes with in Dark Souls' rekindling of Rubicon, aside from the boss is able to take so much lead I thought they were a metaphor for US schools, was the story. I just don't get it. And not in a From Software kind of way where you can just piece together things and then you finally get the big picture and go, haha, so we were all fucked all along. How tragic and heartfelt. I really don't know how deep the lore behind this series, but I'm led to believe it's biblical, cause all of the things that happened here seemed so chaotic and random. I spent the first few hours killing what I think were the original inhabitants of this planet, and while their last cry was cliché as shit like, "Why are you doing this?" I wish I could have told them. I don't fucking know either, I'm just trying to afford myself this very shiny bazooka back home, nothing personal. But maybe that's kind of the point. We're mercenaries deploying the battlefield for money, so fuck ethics. But I found it quite questionable when the game tasked me with destroying the base of Corporation A under the orders of Corporation B, but the mission immediately after, Corporation A asks me help to kill one of Corporation B's lieutenants. Listen dude, either you have an issue misplacing your trust, or you must not know that it was me dropping nukes on your soldiers 10 minutes ago, at which point I have to ask, just how many fuckers out there are going around sporting a bright red and yellow mech? But we're losing a lot of time here. Let's get to the point. Is Armored Core 6 good? Very much so, yes. Do I recommend it? Yeah. It's clearly a game made for two kinds of people. Those who've never played a game from this series but tend to try new types of games, knowing that might not be in their taste, and old fans. If you belong to the first group like me, you should take the risk. There's a good chance you'll love it. If you fall in the second category, you obviously got it on day one. It's not like you had a choice anyway. How else could you act smug saying that this is a sequel made for casual players otherwise?
Congratulations.